expert sulfate-free formulas.
Validated by colorists.
Non-stripping to keep any colored hair beautiful for weeks. Everpure from L'Oréal Paris.
It's a cinematic experience.
Holy!
It was dark. I went dark. I apologize.
We are not here on this planet to close our eyes to the world.
We are here to go out and experience its many wonders.
Because through our experiences,
We become bigger than ourselves.
travel has the power to shape our world.
And make us whole again.
With 30 hotel brands and endless experiences, where can we take you?
The Flat Spin 360. Often imagined, rarely attempted. Accomplished. Just this once. The turbocharged Kia K5.
The WNBA's 25th anniversary season celebration continues with the All-Star Game tonight in Las Vegas. The WNBA All-Stars square off against the USA Basketball National Team in a celebratory send-off game as they get set to head to Tokyo for the Olympics. Our coverage begins tonight at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN and, as always, the ESPN app.
In honor of the All-Star Game, let's do the top 10 plays in WNBA history. Starting in the 2016 finals, Sparks and Lynx, Elena Beard with the game tied in the corner. Oh, yeah, while falling down to give the Sparks the win. She had just 2 points before knocking down that shot. We got more from this series later in the top plays.
The old quality over quantity. Number 9, June 18th of 2017, Diana Taurasi. Try to wrap your head around this number. Her 7,489th career WNBA point-breaking Tina Thompson's all-time league record. Taurasi, the only player right now to have eclipsed 8,000.
In July of 2018, first year back in the WNBA after playing overseas for 5 years, and Liz Cambage with a splash scored a WNBA single-game record 53.
And in the Sparks' very next game, she went on to become the only WNBA player to win both MVP and Rookie of the Year in the same season.
Did you say dunk?
I did.
Okay.
Have another.
WNBA debut, Brittany Griner. I got you dunks right here. She's the first player to dunk twice in a game in the WNBA. So it took her just one game to tie Candace Parker for most career dunks. That's pretty good.
We're halfway home. 2015 WNBA Finals Game 3. Lynx versus the Indiana Dream. Less than 2 seconds left. It's Maya Moore taking the inbound. Hits the 3 at the buzzer to give Minnesota the win in new life. They go on to win the series in 5 games. Their 3rd title in 5 years.
Just won the Arthur Ashe Courage Award. Congrats to Maya there. Lisa Leslie, the first player in league history to throw down in a game back in 2002. She led the Sparks to their 2nd straight title that season.
All right, we've reached our top 3 2019 playoffs, 2nd round. The Aces versus the Sky, down 2 in the closing seconds. Derek Amby intercepted a pass, hits the shot from inside half court. That puts the Aces up 1. Las Vegas won the single elimination game. They advanced to the semifinals.
We promised more from the 2016 finals, Game 5. Back to Maya Moore. She puts the Lynx up 1. And then in a wild back and forth ending, Nneka Ogwumike hit a putback with 3 seconds to go to give the Sparks the lead. They would hang on to win their first WNBA title since 2002.
And your top play when the WNBA was still really in its infancy, the 1999 WNBA Finals Game 2, the Liberty versus the Comets. Down 2 with less than 3. That's Teresa Witherspoon taking the inbound, making the shot from behind half court to give New York the win and keep the best of 3 series alive inside the Compact Center. No less, they called it the Summit there in Houston. New York's 18-point comeback, marking the largest WA Finals history.
Comets would actually prevail in Game 3, though, to win the title. So there you go. Tomorrow, SportsCenter AM will have the best moments from tonight's WNBA All-Star Game as the WNBA continues to celebrate its 25th season. Can the Bucks shift the balance of the NBA Finals and pull even with the Suns? We got full highlights and reaction from tonight's Game 4. And we'll continue to look ahead at Major League Baseball storylines. Red Sox and Yankees renewing their rivalry in the first game of MLB's second half.
David, so then this happened. Of course, it was All-Star Weekend in Denver, so everybody was just dressed fly. Nobody flyer than Fernando Tatis Jr., El Nino in the pink suit. Then you got Chris Bryant. We call that
Jr. The two shared a moment. This only happens if Freddie, his dad, makes the All-Star team, and it didn't look good after a slow start.
2 months ago, I'm hitting 220. You know, we've had our FaceTime conversations, and Charlie goes, "Daddy, I'm going to need you to start."
Good morning. It is time to get up with a night filled with stars. Baseball's best battle a mile high. We've got all the moments right off the top. Then hold everything. Did you hear what Shefty said yesterday? Changes everything we thought about the situation in Green Bay. We'll get you there. Plus, the Bucks back tonight. Giannis and company desperate. Vince Carter will tell you exactly what he needs to do in Game 4. All that and more as we get up with you starting right now. And the house is getting more and more packed. Delighted to have Cassidy Tannenbaum, Jeff Saturday, Jeff Darlington, all ready to go as we will be busy with the football and the hoops. But we start with baseball's biggest stars on baseball's biggest stage. A mile high last night, the 91st. Baseball All-Star Game, and the very first batter, the biggest star of them all. Shohei Ohtani leading things off for the American League. That's the first at bat of the ball game. He would ground out. He'd go 0 for 2 at the plate last night, but that was not all the business he was doing. Ohtani starting on the mound for the American League, facing Fernando Tatis Jr. It would be 1 inning for Ohtani. He would not give up a hit, would not give up a run. To the third we go, the American League, holding a 1-0 lead, Vlad Guerrero Jr. at the plate. And youth will be served. 22 years old, the second youngest player ever to hit a home run in the All-Star Game. Only Johnny Bench had done it younger. That one went 468 feet. Bottom of 8, National League down 5-2, but they've got a great chance. Chris Bryant to the plate. Bases are loaded and 2 men are out. Jared Walsh has never played left field in a major league game, but look at the catch that he makes to preserve the lead in the All-Star Game. In fact, that would basically win it. Bryant can't believe it. American League wins it by a final of 5-2, and Guerrero is the All-Star Game MVP. Again, at 22 years old, the youngest ever to win that honor, and with his home run, he and his father, Vlad Sr., becoming the third father-son combination to hit home runs in the All-Star Game. Sr. hit his 15 years ago. The others to do it's pretty fancy company to be keeping, the Griffies and the Bonds. Much more from the All-Star Game as we continue. But right now, to the NFL and to the very latest on Aaron Rodgers, where we are 13 days away from the Packers opening up training camp. That's July 27th. Now, yesterday, Adam Schefter had an update on the Rodgers situation on his podcast. We thought the update deserved to be played in its entirety, so here it comes. This is Shefty.
We also continue to wait for an answer from one Aaron Rodgers, who very easily could have dismissed all the speculation that's going on around him with a simple statement of, "I'll see you at training camp." or I'll be there on opening day. And instead, we haven't gotten that. Because the fact of the matter is, the truth is, he doesn't want to be in Green Bay. He hasn't planned to be back in Green Bay. Now, we'll see whether the Packers and him can come up with some sort of compromise that can lure him back there. But I don't believe, and I think Aaron Rodgers knows this, that he wants to be back there, nor plans to be back there at this time. He just hasn't come out and said it. Look, the fact of the matter is he loves his coaches, he loves his teammates, he loves many of the people that he's worked with, but not everybody. And so this obviously continues to set up as the storyline of the summer. We'll see how the Packers handle it. But the one thing I feel very comfortable and confident in saying is Aaron Rodgers does not want to play there anymore. The question is whether they can convince him to do it. And I don't know how that is going to work out.
So this obviously sends things in a vastly different direction than much of the sensibility has been the last few days. And I underlined two words that Schefter used. He says he doesn't want to play there. That's one thing. He then says he doesn't plan to play there. That, of course, is something else entirely. And the Jeffs are there. And Mike Tannenbaum, I'll start with you here. As a former general manager yourself who's in these places, is 13 days from now a deadline? Do you believe we will know one way or the other with some resolution how this is going to go?
No, Greeny. Until we get to the opening season, until we get to that first week, I don't think anything changes because Green Bay has to be convinced that he's going to miss regular season games for them to even consider shifting their thinking. Because, again, if they're going to ever consider trading him, it's going to be for draft choices next April. So they want to take as much time as possible. Really, the closest precedent we have is going back to 2011 when Carson Palmer missed half the season and he was ultimately traded from the Bengals to the Raiders. So this has quite a while to play out.
It could, and it's a good point. And the Palmer, I understand the Palmer comparison because of the circumstances, but his was so different. He wanted out of a team because they were so bad, and he felt they'd never get good. He had no chance to win there. This is a Super Bowl caliber team. Does that factor into this?
This, and I would never consider trading the player unless I felt like he was going to miss a lot of regular season games. So I think it's in both sides' best interest to find some middle ground.
All right, let me go to Jeff Darlington next if I can, because Jeff, there is a financial piece to this that I think people have some sense of an idea of what it is, but just how significant it actually is.
Well, Greeny, and that's what I keep coming back to here. Like, I understand Aaron Rodgers not wanting to go to work anymore. It reminds me of The Office Space when Peter Gibbons is like, yeah, I'm just not going to work there anymore. It doesn't work that way when you consider some of the ramifications from a salary standpoint. And we can talk about like the numbers that are obvious. Okay, we got a base salary of $14.7 million. We've got a roster bonus of $6.8 million that he would forfeit if he didn't show up. Then we've got the workout bonuses he's already missed out on, $500,000, another $100,000 for the mini camp that he missed. So we're up to upwards of $22 million. There's another $1.75 million that if he misses 35 training camp practices that he would miss out on. Those are unforgivable fines there. And then another $11.5 million in signing bonus that the Packers could go after if they wanted to. So like, I get it. Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to play for the Packers anymore. I guess I'm still not understanding what he's going to do instead, because just not showing up for work doesn't work in this world. Unlike Peter Gibbons, Aaron Rodgers will be out of a lot of money.
Yeah, at some point it does start adding up to real money, even if you're Aaron Rodgers, which brings me to Jeff Saturday and what you have been saying since this whole thing began, Jeff.
Yeah, he's going to be a Packer, and he's going to play as a Packer this season, and that's just the way it is. This is what grown folks do. You don't like your boss? Suck it up. You still got to go to work, right? Like that's what a lot of people end up having to do. He likes his teammates. He likes his coaching staff. He wants to be there. And to Tannenbaum's point, this is his best opportunity to win a Super Bowl. Make no mistake about Aaron Rodgers. Whatever you think about how he's doing the business side of it, this is a competitive player when he hits the field. He won the MVP last year. He wants to show that he's still in that caliber. He understands what's at stake. This guy's not getting any younger, right? I mean, he's in his upper 30s already. The team is ready to strike right now. All of those things come into it's now. You got to play for the Packers. And so as I've looked at this thing, nothing has changed for me. If this thing didn't get done way back in the spring, it's not getting done. He's going to play as a Packer this season.
Jeff, you made another point, Jeff Saturday, that I thought was interesting in our meeting this morning, where Shefty is saying, well, he could have ended all this by saying, well, I plan to be there. You said there's another way that he could have ended this that he didn't choose either.
Yeah, he could have sold all the stuff in Green Bay and been like, I ain't going back to Green Bay no matter what, right? I mean, he could have drawn a line in the sand on either side. So as much as I appreciate what Shefty's saying on this side, he could have easily said, house is already sold, cars have already been shipped back to California. I ain't going back to Green Bay, right? This isn't going to happen. He did not put that in the universe as well. So as much as it is on one side for Shefty, for me, it's the other way. He could have definitely made it clear he wasn't going to be a Packer. He hasn't made that stance either. He's going to be a Packer. I've said it for 4 months. It's not going to change. Whether he likes it or not, this is what he's going to do because he knows it's in his best interest.
Greeny, there's another X factor here. If Green Bay starts off 0-3 and Jordan Love looks terrible, that gives Aaron Rodgers immense leverage. And it may be, hey, I'll come back, but now you got to shorten the contract by 2 years, which is something Green Bay doesn't want to do, but it may give him the best chance to salvage this season, get to the offseason, get 2 or 3 first-round picks, and then go draft his successor. So if he misses regular season games,
yes, sir,
the eyes of the football world will be on Jordan Love's performance.
Absolutely. All right, we will see. Maybe in 13 days we will have some resolution to the situation, and maybe we will be even further away from the answer than we are right now. We'll have more football as we go, but we got to get to the game of the night, the blowout of the night last night, and it's one that we desperately needed. So Team USA coming off back-to-back exhibition losses, and if ever there was pressure on the American team to play well in an exhibition, maybe it was here against Argentina, and if so, they rose to the occasion. That's Damian Lillard knocking down a 3 in the first half, and then how about watch Draymond Green working his way inside and throwing it down. Team USA a 14-point lead. Time ticking down now in the half. The lead is 14. Here comes Kevin Durant. Good luck stopping that. He scored 14 in the first half, and the U.S. had a 16-point cushion. To the fourth quarter we go. It's a 21-point game. Here comes Zach LaVine, and we have liftoff. He had 15 points. Durant and Bradley Beal 17 each. Team USA much better. They win it 108-80. Questions as we get up with you on ESPN.
Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Cool ranch chicken sandwich, no they better by hand. I'm gonna get my hands BLT ranch in my hand. There's 100% chance of us.
Celebrate this summer with the new BLT Ranch hand-breaded chicken sandwich from Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Feed your happy.
There's an America we build and one we explore. One that's been paved and one that's forever wild. But freedom means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Welcome to the Space Jam.
You gotta be kidding me. This Friday, only one game counts.
I got it.
Come on and ride, baby, ride. Come on, do it right, baby, right. You wanna hoop, so
This is doing like never before. This is the Home Depot, how doers get more done.
You know Miller Lite only has 1 more calorie, right?
And more taste.
only pay for what you need. How much money can Liberty Mutual save you? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, $17,808. Yep, everything hurts.
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
On a road trip, do you need power or optimum power? If that battery in your kid's toy dies, you are in for a long ride. So upgrade to Optimum. Duracell Optimum.
It's too dark in here. I need to get out.
Just calm down.
I can't calm down. The walls are closing in. I'm freaking out.
Ugh, relax, Yellow.
Just take a deep breath. Let's not do that again.
At last, M&M's Mix.
Rated RP2M.
The Taco Bell comeback is here, and it is fire. If an NBA team comes from behind at halftime to win in a finals game, we'll bring back the Flamin' Hot Doritos Locos Tacos for a limited time. And America gets one for free, only at Taco Bell.
New Dove Men deodorant is different. It has 48-hour protection and a plant-based moisturizer that cares for your skin. Odor protection that works. New Dove Men Plant-Based Care.
And Johnson, he throws it down. Giannis punishing the Suns.
The Freaks come out at night. They bounce back to keep their championship dreams alive.
Suns Bucks tonight on ABC.
Back on Get Up, and training camp around the corner. Quarterback battles always taking center stage. Let's talk about who's going to win these jobs. Jeff Darlington, Cam Newton, or Mac Jones in New England?
Greeny, tricky one here. My instincts keep wanting to go toward Mac Jones, but I'm going to say Cam Newton. I just don't know that there's enough time for Mac to take that job, especially given the precedent that Bill Belichick set back in 2000 when he had 4 quarterbacks, the fourth of which was Tom Brady. He made him work his way up the depth chart before getting that job. I think Cam Newton starts week 1. From there, though, it's anybody's guess.
That's an interesting one. So is New Orleans. Jeff Saturday, you got Jameis or Taysom Hill?
I'm going Jameis Winston and Green. I don't think this is going to be as close as people think. Listen, he was in a system with Bruce Arians down in Tampa Bay that was a no risk it, no biscuit, and he risked it, and it cost him, right? He threw a ton of interceptions, 30 interceptions his last season there. I think under Sean Payton in this offense, he will shrink those numbers remarkably. This guy can spin it. Like, don't forget about the talent he had on the other side as well. I think he will.
He knows the protections. Again, my only concern is only 3 preseason games, but when he knows what to do, he should start right away. And as Jeff Saturday knows, those offensive players will tell Matt Nagy, this guy gives us the best chance to win.
Well, that's an interesting one. I find it fascinating because we had Sam Acho here yesterday, and he played for the Bears for a long time and knows a lot of the people involved. And he, while I agree with you, he sees it differently. This is what he said to us yesterday here.
My opinion has actually changed. Initially, I thought that Justin Fields would be the starting quarterback in week 1. I played in Chicago 4 years. I know Matt Nagy. I know the staff. I understand general manager Ryan Pace. I know all these guys. But if you go and actually watch some of the practices or go and listen to what Matt Nagy's saying, he wants Andy Dalton to start. He wants Justin Fields to sit, similar to what we saw with Patrick Mahomes when he was in Kansas City.
So Tannenbaum says it should go to Justin Fields. That's Sam Acho saying they want to go the Mahomes route. Jeff Saturday, what do you say?
Best laid plans. What's the Mike Tyson quote that was so strongly worded? Everybody's got a great plan until they get punched in the face, right? That's Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace. Your job is on the line, right? You don't have the Andy Reid resume where he could wait for Mahomes and Alex Smith was at least getting you to the playoffs and doing those things. This team, they have got to win and win now. And to Mike's point, Fields gives you the best chance. I thought this was the second best quarterback in the draft. That has not changed for me. I think Fields will be a quick study, get behind this Bears offense. And to Mike's other point, offensive players, we understand what it requires to put points on the board. If this guy is our guy, we're going to go to the coach and say, hey, man, we want this guy. He gives us the best opportunity. Let's make a move. I get what you said in the press. It's time to move on so we can win some football games.
Well, Jeff Darlington, let me ask you that. There's been a perception, I think, for some time that the tenuous job status of the coach and the general manager would factor into this one way or the other. Is that real?
Yes, absolutely real. And we're talking about, by the way, a little bit of a different dynamic than some other times. This is a head coach and a general manager both on the hot seat. So it feels like at least the decision would be somewhat cohesive. Like these guys both should be able to look at this situation and say, Justin Fields, now we have to see what he's going to be able to do, or we're both out of this thing. So it's not the easiest decision in the world. Mike T could probably speak to it better than I. But I just know that when a general manager and a head coach are both on the hot seat at the same time, decisions tend to be a little bit more abrupt than perhaps otherwise.
Correct. And if that is the case, then I will just be the one to say that's just terrible organizational management, because the most important thing they can be doing right now is developing the young quarterback at whatever the best pace is for him. And the tenuous job status of the coach should not factor into that. You're not trying to win for 1 year when you trade up in the first round to take Justin Fields. You're trying to win for a decade. And if they're going to make decisions based on anything other than that, I blame that on the people all the way upstairs.
Yeah, agree. You're alluding to win for today and develop for tomorrow.
Right.
And go 6-11 with Andy Dalton and then play Justin Fields. But that's just not the reality of it. With that said, I do think because Fields' ability is so much better than what Andy Dalton could do. Because, again, we haven't even talked about the plays Justin Fields can make with his feet and how explosive he is as an athlete. I think he does give him the best chance to win. But you're right. They should monitor the situation carefully and make sure they're putting him in a position to be successful. If he doesn't know what to do, and, again, there's only 3 preseason games, then bring him along slowly. But, again, to me, there's such a massive talent difference that you have to go with Fields sooner than later.
Maybe. All I'll say is if you're making short-term decisions over long-term priorities, that's an excellent way not to have any chance of winning anytime soon. In the meantime, let me go back to these top 10 lists. Our buddy Jeremy Fowler doing these polls, and he pulled all these NFL GMs and coaches and execs and all these people, put together the top 10 players at a variety of positions. Today, the wide receivers are available, and at number 1 is Devontae Adams, who had 18 touchdown catches last year, most by any player in a season since Randy Moss. DeAndre Hopkins comes in at number 2, fitting considering he was second in the league in both receptions and receiving yards in 2020. Number 3, Stephon Diggs. Sensational season helping Josh Allen's development in Buffalo. Led the league in both receptions and receiving yards last year. The only Bills player ever to do so in their history. Rounding out the top 5, Tyreek Hill, you see on your screen there. The brand new Titan Julio Jones is at 5. You see the names on the right side there. Mike Evans at 7, 1 spot ahead of Michael Thomas, who played just 7 games last year due to injury. So we thought, rather than look at those all seem like reasonable choices. We thought to ourselves, which wide receiver will be in that top 5 when we do this next year? Give me the receiver who will be a top 5 receiver this time next season. Mike T, you're first.
Justin Jefferson. He had a remarkable rookie year, Greeny, and 2 numbers really stick out. He only had 3 drops on the entire season, and he had 175 yards after contact. He is hard to tackle. He's only going to get better. He's big, he's physical, he can run, and he has elite hands.
Okay, I like that one. Jeff Darlington, how about you?
Well, Greeny, you saw Julio Jones there backing up into the number 5 spot in that list. But look at A.J. Brown with the Titans to maybe sneak in there in Julio Jones' place. Because honestly, like, when I talk to Ryan Tannehill, for instance, like I think his connection with A.J. Brown is such that it's not going to be a simple scenario where Julio Jones comes in there and simply takes the number one receiver role. I still think that A.J. Brown is the number one guy, and Julio is going to have to play a little bit of a different role than he ever has in his career. Hey, maybe his talent takes off as it usually does, and that changes things. But I wouldn't be surprised if A.J. Brown comes out of this year looking like an absolute superstar.
I can't help but think what it must be to be a corner and look out there and see Julio on one side and A.J. on the other. Jeff Saturday, how about you? Who's going to break into the top 5?
I'm gonna throw us in a little tissy here. I'm gonna say OBJ, Odell Beckham.
Oh.
Listen, when I look at what Stefanski did with Baker Mayfield last year, early in the season they were pushing him the ball, they were forcing it, everything, it just looked out of sorts, right? So everybody's like, well, the offense for the Browns is better without OBJ. Well, now that Mayfield has a year under his belt with the system, OBJ's coming off this injury with Chubb, with Hunt, with Landry, all of those things. And listen, this is still one of the most explosive receivers once the ball is in his hand. I think the progression for Mayfield actually helps OBJ, and he shocks the world. Listen, he's been humbled. He's been humbled the last few years. He understands it. I think he's getting back to the work that he had to do early in his career. I'm excited about what's going to happen in Cleveland with OBJ coming off this injury.
If so, if that's right, then the Browns become, without question, a legit Super Bowl contender.
Yes, sir.
I'm going to go an entirely different direction. Mike Tannenbaum, you took Justin Jefferson. He was the second best player on his own college team a couple of years ago, behind Jamar Chase, the rookie, who that year at the age of 19, playing with Joe Burrow, who will be his quarterback in Cincinnati, became the only college receiver ever with 20 touchdowns and 20 yards per catch in any season. Did I mention he was 19 years old when he did that? The world has forgotten how good he is because he opted out of last season. But he is going to be spectacular. He's reunited with his college quarterback. I think Jamar Chase is going to hit the league by storm. As we continue, coming up,
That's a good one.
Who is going to stop Tampa Tom in 2021? That's the question. Does anyone have an answer? There's a surprise contender that everyone may be forgetting about. That's coming up next. Plus, the Bucks and the Suns back at it for Game 4 tonight. Giannis and company are desperate, and we've got the coverage ready to go. Vince Carter and Cassidy Hubbard are here to tell you exactly what Giannis needs to do. He's next. We're coming right back. This is Get Up on ESPN.
Black Widow. I wonder if...
Seatbelts on.
Yes, safety first. That's what we always say at Geico. Never mind.
Okay, you got a plan?
We really should leave our insurance information.
Oh, you're right back there.
I'm okay. My mind was somewhere else.
Marvel Studios' Black Widow, coming to theaters.
And a high fly ball.
Hey kid, think fast.
I'm too tired.
We're the strong mind. We're coming up with a good plan. You know what you are?
See, but
you
here's
the
the
strawberries, you the eye candy. That's a compliment, man.
Right.
Red, white, and blue slush float.
I've never met someone who refuses to take a compliment like that.
Matt Damon commands the screen in Stillwater.
There's a new lead.
For his daughter's freedom.
Stillwater. What did you say?
One father must find the truth.
Dad, please. You just have to trust me.
Stillwater, rated R.
Rule the playground. Toyota, let's go places.
Whoever made this weird nugget gave up hope. But whoever made Arby's new 100% chicken breast nuggets really cares. A lot. The most. 2 for $6. Arby's, we have the meat.
Slow. You would
never see that. Use the trap, yo.
Dwayne, what's good?
You guys ready to go on the adventure of a lifetime?
I'm ready to chill.
You do know this is not your typical cruise, right? Have fun in the jungle.
Jungle? Nah, that can't be it. Dwayne.
Later.
He said jungle, Bam. Jungle.
We are not here on this planet to close our eyes to the world.
We are here to go out and experience its many wonders.
Because through our experiences,
we become bigger than ourselves.
Travel has the power to shape our world.
And make us whole again.
With 30 hotel brands and endless experiences, where can we take you?
Hi.
Happy anniversary.
For what?
Every year you're with us, you get $50 toward your home deductible. It's a policy perk for being a Farmer's customer.
Really? Do I have to do anything?
Nothing.
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 Nothing?
Nothing.
That really is something.
You get a whole lot of something with Farmer's policy perks. See ya.
May I have a balloon too?
Sure. Your parents have maintained a Farmer's home policy for 12 consecutive months, right?
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
We're back on Get Up, and this game is called Believe It or Not. We'll hear what some people said, and we'll decide if we believe it or not. Jeff Saturday, Devontae Smith, the rookie, believes he's ready to be, quote, the guy for the Eagles this year. Believe it or not?
I believe it, but I believe it with a little caveat. Nick Sirianni, their head coach and offensive coordinator, is going to have to find ways to get Devontae moved around, right? Move him inside, off the ball, give him a yard of separation to make moves. He's not a line it up outside and just dominate guy yet, but I think if they use him correctly, this guy could be dominant for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Playing with his old college quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Mike T, you're next. Vikings linebacker Anthony Barr believes the Vikings can win the Super Bowl. Believe it. We'll see what happens. Jeff Saturday, coming back to you. Ryan Fitzpatrick says the Washington offense, this one is for Darlington. Ryan Fitzpatrick says the Washington offense will be tough to defend. Believe it or not, Jeff?
Sure, I do believe it. Look, you've made some additions in Curtis Samuel and Adam Humphries, and in those comments, Ryan Fitzpatrick also said that Scott Turner's offense, the offensive coordinator,
Jack Del Rio, Rivera, they understand how to win games defensively. They understand offensively. I love that Fitzpatrick's jumping in and saying, hey, we're going to be this type of offense. Ultimately, this team runs through that front seven on the defense. So if we're going to give compliments and throw some things, some big predictions, let's make sure we put the emphasis on the right portion of the team.
I'm with that. Look, the main reason that I like Washington so much is their defense, of course. But let me just give you the numbers.
Yes.
Over the last 3 seasons, Ryan Fitzpatrick has a higher completion percentage than Tom Brady. He has more yards per pass attempt than Russell Wilson, a higher touchdown percentage than Dak Prescott, and a higher total QBR than Deshaun Watson. I mean, he's just flat out been really good the last 3 years. Why Jeff, is anyone unwilling? Why, Jeff Saturday, are you unwilling to buy into that?
Because it could be a 5-interception day. You never. It could be heroics, and it also could be tanked. So, this is how stats can just, they can just, throw the wave on you, right? All of a sudden you're like, oh, look at this stat and this stat. Ultimately, games are won and lost by the turnover battle. And he will have some games where he gives 2 or 3, which can totally throw the game to the other football team. So as I look at it, I still have caution. I'm cautiously optimistic, but still caution on the offensive side of that football team.
Mike, I'm not even looking in your direction because I know, but here's the thing. They had the 32nd highest, the lowest QBR in the entire sport last year. They had the worst quarterback play in the sport last year and won an admittedly bad division because of that great defense. If Fitzpatrick can just be mediocre, if he can just be halfway there, then I think all of a sudden this team is that dangerous.
I think they'll be dangerous, but I think over 17 games, Dak Prescott has a chance to be an A. And I just think at the end of the day, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a B who could turn the ball over. And Green, not to throw shade on you, but last year Washington was 3-7 outside the division. So even though they had this great defense and terrible quarterback play, there is some context here. They will be better, but at the end of the day, I'm going with the better, younger, more athletic quarterback, Dak Prescott, and it is the offseason, so we can talk about the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And your Washington team, I think at some point there'll be some critical turnovers.
All right, we have to make some sort of wager on that as we work our way closer to it. More on that as we go. Meanwhile, on Planet Earth, which is brought to you by Whole Foods Market. Did you see this video? What did the former general manager and you think, Tannenbaum, as we watched Lamar Jackson on the basketball court practicing football routes with local kids? Did this worry you at all?
100%. I'm nervous just watching it now. I'm sure Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh, we love them. We love what Lamar's doing, but non-football injury, don't get hurt, sign the big contract, donate to charity, be there for the kids. Don't do this.
All right, fair enough. So that is the football that's taking place on the basketball court. Let's get to the basketball that'll be taking place tonight. The critical Game 4 of the NBA Finals on ABC. And Cassidy Hubbarth is here. Let's run the floor to begin with some of the big things that we have our eyes on tonight. What are the keys the fan should be thinking about?
Greeny, he's human. That's what Mike Budenholzer said about Devin Booker's 3 of 14 night from the floor. He also said he fully expects a good Devin Booker game in Game 4, rather. And Book said he has to have a short memory, and he and CP gathered in Chris Paul's hotel room. They went over tape. It's something they do in Phoenix because they live on the same street together. And really, DeAndre Ayton said it's pretty scary, his demeanor heading into this game. Now, a scary thing for the Suns is Ayton off the floor. And he said he was frustrated by the foul trouble he had in Game 3. And he said it's not going to change his aggression in Game 4. Monty Williams, though, said he doesn't really know how to advise him how to get out of foul trouble if guys are running into him. He says that he needs to not brace contact, rather, because that's how he gets into foul trouble. As far as the overall game plan against Giannis, Stan Van Gundy, they're trying to build a freaking wall because it's like facing a running back coming down at them. Giannis said that he takes the Giannis wall as a compliment. And here's what he has to say about their defensive plan against him going forward.
Once I started seeing the wall 2 years ago, now it's about, trust. And it's kind of hard, because you want to be effective, you want to get downhill, and you take it personal. A team that's building a wall of 3 people and 2 guys behind or whatever the case might be and trying to stop you, now you have to not take it personal and make the right play, find the right guy. But I will always a capable passer before the wall is created. Which is funny that there's a defense out there called the Giannis wall. It's funny to me, so it's crazy.
All right, so we had the Jordan rules, and now we have the Giannis wall, Cass, which is an interesting point. And there's the man who's going to explain to us exactly what it means. Vince Carter getting up with us earlier here. So when you hear that, Giannis, they're building a wall against him defensively. He's had 40 points in each of the last 2 games. What's the key for him tonight?
Well, first of all, Greeny, Cassidy, I got to say this. Giannis needs to know that wall has been there for a while. As I was in the league and having the guard is, I was looking for that guy on my left, that guy on my right to build that wall as well. It's kind of like LeBron. When Giannis gets downhill, I need bodies there. And then it's like, who's the sacrificial lamb? Who's the guy who's going to say, hey, he's going to get the shots. He's going to be the one. Because, with Giannis, you have to put multiple bodies on him because you cannot play him one-on-one. You can't play him one-on-one because when he does, he puts your guys in foul trouble. He puts your bigs in foul trouble. So now we're going to say we're going to put somebody there, and we're going to let role players have to beat us, and we're going to live with it.
Yeah, and we'll see if those, and again, the role players in this case could be Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, so these are all-star caliber players.
Well, Greeny, I'm talking about more like a Pat Connaughton.
Yeah.
You know, you somebody like that. You PJ Tucker. You want those guys who aren't used to being the go-to guys. Those are the guys we're saying, hey, when we double or when we build that wall, we close out a little slower to those guys because we don't want Giannis to get in our paint.
And Giannis said something about, I mean, you just say it's been around for a while. He said he's been seeing it for now 2 years. And at first, like he said, he took it personally. But now he feels good about it because he feels good about his playmaking and trusting his teammates.
And you said something to us in our meeting this morning also that Giannis said about playing through his weaknesses.
Yes.
What is that?
No, we had this conversation, obviously, on Monday about, once Giannis realizes he should play more like Shaq than Kobe, then his superpowers will be unleashed. Well, he was asked about it, not specifically that reference, but more about focusing his game. And he talked about really how he wants to evolve his game by feeling comfortable in his own skin. And in order to do that, it's by playing through his weaknesses. Now, he didn't say necessarily he plans to play through his weaknesses in the NBA Finals, but it's certainly something that he wants to carry over to the regular season. Now, he did not say that because we have seen him, kind of rely sometimes on shooting threes and jump shots throughout these playoffs. But what we're seeing in these finals, I mean, just in game 3, he didn't have a made field goal outside the paint. But I want to ask you this, Vince. I mean, you had the longest career in NBA history. So when you think about Giannis, what is the quote unquote right way to evolve his career?
Well, you put your work in the summer for sure. And at some point you have to see where you are, where that jump shot is. But I'm not telling him to use or work on that in the finals because he wants to win the finals, clearly. What works, stick to what works right now. Giannis getting downhill, getting into the paint, that's what works for him and the Bucks. Now, on occasions when he's rolling, we see, against the Hawks, he was rolling, and then occasionally you shoot that 3 when you're up a little bit because those are times when you can kind of see where you are with the jump shot. But right now, if they're gonna back up in the paint or build a wall, you get as deep as possible, get to the paint. But eventually, he's gonna have to continue to work on it and then feel comfortable enough where he doesn't think about shooting it. He just shoots the 3.
Right, but eventually can start in November. Tonight, if you're his teammate, you're saying
Absolutely.
Get your butt in the paint and leave it there, and we'll see what happens.
In the paint.
All right, we'll see if that's the strategy tonight. Game 4 of the finals coming your way tonight, 9 Eastern on ABC and on ESPN Deportes. Our coverage will begin with 8:30 NBA Countdown, and all of it is streaming live on the ESPN app, one tap. Meanwhile, coming up here, was Patrick Mahomes throwing some shade at his new division rival? You'll hear it and you'll make the call as we roll on. It's Get Up on ESPN.
Really? Really? Free testing and charging? And if you need a new one, we've got you.
Really? Welcome to America's #1 battery destination, AutoZone, your battery solution.
Cross Junior and Hardee's.
Celebrate this summer with the new BLT Ranch Angus Thick Burger from Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. Feed your happy.
Dogs don't know what's good for them. Like not being able to leave a good stick alone.
Hello!
Greenies, something better for your dog to chew on.
Robert Dubois. He put Superman in the ICU with a kryptonite bullet.
I'm not joining your damn suicide squad.
We'll see.
We failed the mission. You die.
How was that?
You love him or hate him. No. These are your brothers and sisters.
A guy that wears a toilet seat on his head. It's not a toilet seat, it's a beacon of freedom.
In theaters and on HBO Max, August 6th, rated R.
USAA is made for the safe pilots. For Mac, who can come to a stop with barely a bobble. Lucia, who announces her intentions even if no one's there. And Sergeant Moore, who leaves room for her room. With USAA Safe Pilot, when you drive safe, you can save up to 30% on your auto insurance.
Means you don't have to choose just one adventure. You get both. Introducing the wildly civilized, all-new, 3-row Jeep Grand Cherokee L.
Today's pros need today's tools, and nobody understands that better than the Home Depot. Our online project calculators cut guesswork and extra trips. Job site delivery frees you up to focus on the task at hand. And if you don't want to buy equipment, you can rent it. That's how today's pros get more done. New tech, new tools, old-fashioned hard work. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
Whoa, Susan.
Oh, I'm looking for coupon codes.
Well, Capital One Shopping instantly searches for available coupon codes and automatically applies them. It's called shopping smart, not hard.
But I don't have a Capital One card.
You should get one, but you don't need it for this. Just download Capital One Shopping to your computer. It's free.
Ooh, save me some cheddar.
So, when's the party? I love fondue.
Really?
I never joke about hot cheese, Susan.
Me neither.
Capital One Shopping. It's kind of genius. What's in your wallet?
New Klondike cones. Experience the chocolate tip. Examine the full sauce core. Bask in a downpour of peanuts.
I hear sleigh bells, which can only mean one thing.
It's Christmas in July, and we're giving you the gift of a shiny new Holy Moly.
For that, we're thankful. Very, very thankful.
And what the heck? It's New Year's in July, too.
Fireworks, dancers, and there's flags. That's a real dragon, Joe.
And like all holidays, you need to be prepared.
I can tell he has no plan right now.
You have no faith in our competitors sometimes. Oh, he has no plan. He has absolutely no plan.
New Holy Moly 3D in 2D, Thursday on ABC.
All right, tonight is the WNBA All-Star Game in Vegas. The All-Stars squaring off against the USA basketball national team in a celebratory send-off game as they get set to go to Tokyo for the Olympics. Coverage begins tonight, 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app, one tap. All right, back to the NFL. You won't find a more dominant quarterback in the league over the last 3 years, of course, than Patrick Mahomes, who leads the sport in touchdowns over that span. But he has some very interesting competition now in his division. A lot of people very excited about the Chargers' Justin Herbert, who set the rookie records in touchdown passes and completions last year, and he may have surprised some with his playmaking ability. He was second in QBR when pressured last year behind only Mahomes. So Mahomes was at the golf event this weekend. He had a fan yell a question at him. Just take a listen to this.
Watch out for Justin Herbert next year. I'll see it when I believe it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to make a huge deal out of this, of course, and Mahomes makes sure we don't want to. He said, I think it got taken out of context. I was talking some trash to all the Raider, Bronco, and Charger fans out there. I have a ton of respect for him as a player. But Jeff Saturday, you had a little different idea of what you think Patrick Mahomes was saying to that fan. What was that?
You better put some respect on my name, bro. That's what he's saying. I think Herbert has lost as many games that Mahomes has lost in his career in his first season, right? I think they've both lost 9 games. Been to 2 Super Bowls, won an MVP, and you gonna come chirping at me about some quarterback for the Chargers? Man, you better step back, bro. Understand who you're talking to. The hottest start in quarterback history. Respect that.
I like that. I don't know how you want to follow that one, Darlington, but go ahead and do your best. I guess, actually, let me come to Tannenbaum, because I'll give you all the credit in the world. Mike Tannenbaum, before the draft of last year, was on this show every single day when we were leading up to the draft. There were no other sports, so we were talking about that for 2 hours a day every day. You were then saying Justin Herbert would have been your number 1 pick if you had the first pick in that draft. So at this moment, it feels like you might have had that part of it right. But do I need to slow my roll on him? I'm calling for Justin Herbert to be the MVP of the league this year. Am I jumping a little too far?
Not at all, because the tape sets the floor, the character sets the ceiling. He is a high ceiling player, great work ethic. And last year, the Chargers were 31st in the NFL in pass protection. So they added 3 linemen in terms of 2 in free agency. They added 1 in the draft, Rashawn Slater from Northwestern. So with an improved offensive line, a healthy number of weapons, they have closed the gap, in my opinion, dramatically to the Chiefs. I think they can compete this year for the playoffs, and I don't think there's a big gap between the two.
So, Jeff Darlington, how about that?
I mean, are you already giving Patrick Mahomes like the LeBron James treatment, where we forget about him each year and pick another player to get the MVP? Like Patrick Mahomes, Greeny, not Justin Herbert. Patrick Mahomes is the favorite to be the MVP this year.
Patrick Mahomes won the MVP in his second season when he burst onto the scene and did better than most people were expecting. Now, Herbert obviously had a lot more play in his first year than Mahomes did. But I feel like this is a narrative award. It always has been. I like Herbert for the MVP this season. Jeff Saturday, what do you think of that?
I think you bought into the magic again, bro. Mahomes continues to show you what he did. I think everybody has this caption of what happened in the Super Bowl when they got torched because their offensive line was banged up. Man, this kid shows you each and every week how good he is. This is not a slight to Justin Herbert. This is a Greenberg, put some respect on that man's name. That's what you're like the fan out in Tahoe right now, just trying to stir the pot.
Okay, I'm going to have to admit it. That person who yelled at him from the stands, that was me. That was me. I was there. I was watching the golf. I was enjoying it. I yelled at Mahomes.
You weren't playing in that tournament?
What can you do? No, they didn't invite me to play, so I just went and showed up with my clubs and hoped someone would invite me to hit a few shots. So instead, I yelled some trash at Patrick Mahomes. It was a lot of fun. All right, guys, sit close. We have much more to do with you. But every Wednesday, we go to college football, and today begins the start of Big 12 media days, and all things, of course, center around the 6-time defending conference champs, 6 times, the Oklahoma Sooners. But the Sooners are still looking for their first win in the college football playoff. Our Heather Dinich believes this year might finally be the year.
Reaching the college football playoff hasn't been a problem for Oklahoma. The Sooners have been there 4 times in 7 seasons. Winning a semifinal? Well, that's a different story. Oklahoma is 0-4 in the playoff, but once again it's favored to return, and this time the Sooners have the potential to win it all. The difference is in the defense, which was one of the worst in the country until coordinator Alex Grinch was hired in 2019. The transformation has been remarkable, and it's the biggest reason why Lincoln Riley said this team has a chance to be the most balanced he's ever had. The unit, which ranked 5th in defensive efficiency in 2020, returns 10 starters. The offense is led by quarterback and Heisman hopeful Spencer Rattler. Rattler completed 68% of his passes, throwing 28 touchdowns in the process. According to ESPN's Football Power Index, Oklahoma has a 61.7% chance to win its 7th straight Big 12 title. But if the Sooners are going to be taken seriously as a national title contender, they need to avoid a 3rd straight loss to K-State and an upset in the non-conference lineup. Oklahoma hasn't won a national championship since 2000. The Sooners don't need to prove they're among the nation's elite programs. The question is if they can beat them.
And Heather joins us live, as always, on these Wednesdays. 2000, my goodness, that feels like such an extraordinarily long time ago. Let's talk about the quarterback, though, Heather, because we've seen, obviously, all the success they've had with quarterbacks in recent years with Baker Mayfield and Kyler Murray, and now last year, as well as Jalen Hurts played there. What is the expectation for Rattler this season?
Well, he should enter this season as the front runner for the Heisman Trophy. And I say that because there's a lot of other talented quarterbacks and new quarterbacks out there. But when you look at what he did during their 8-game winning streak, 23 touchdowns, 5 turnovers, 45 points per game they scored during that span. And oh, by the way, he beat 3 top 15 defenses. So when you look at what he's done, whether or not he's the best this year remains to be seen, but he's certainly one of the most proven.
And the reason I wanted Mike T in this conversation today is I want to talk about projecting forward because, you know, it's never too early to start thinking about quarterbacks in the draft. And the conventional wisdom around last year's draft was, well, the coming one, 2022, doesn't have a lot of really good players. Is Rattler one of the quarterbacks that people will have their eye on? Who are the quarterbacks?
Yeah, we will have an eye on him. I don't know if he's a frontline first rounder. Green, like you just saw, he's not big, and he's an effective scrambler, but he's not a high-end athlete. So he was productive last year, 28 touchdowns, and Heather talked about that great winning streak. But when it projects to the next level, I don't see these great redeeming traits that maybe Sam Howell from North Carolina. He reminds me a little bit more of a guy like Kyle Trask, Brock Purdy from Iowa State. So there will be a number of quarterbacks that will be in that first round discussion. But as it relates to Spencer Rattler, I'm just concerned about his size translating to an elite pro player.
All right, we will see. Meantime, he's got a college season to get through. But more importantly than any of that, Heather, I am told you have a message for Mike Tannenbaum today.
Yeah, look, I got to take this opportunity to say I'm kind of sick and tired of every time I see you on TV crushing my Steelers, man. I mean, Big Ben's old. I know it. He knows it. We all know he's old. The O-line was tough. Can you just bring a little more optimism, man? Just a little. Work on that little, okay?
You know, Heather, it's safe to say, like, there's no free lunches for me in Pittsburgh right now.
Yes.
You know, you and a cast of thousands, but I don't. Why let the facts get in the way of anything?
Permante's Brothers is not making a sandwich for you. I'll tell you that right now. But are you?
No.
Heather? Can we get a little on the other side here? What is your projection? You love you live and die with the black and gold. Do you believe that Ben is going to have a big year and they're going to make the playoffs?
No. I mean, look.
I guess I was that compelling.
I'm also a realist, okay? I understand. He makes great points, but I just, as somebody who every time I see Mike T's face on TV, I feel like he's crushing them. My mom says, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, you know? Just kind of soften the blows a little bit.
Okay. Well, unfortunately, your mom wouldn't be great on TV, but I do appreciate the sentiment. It is a good thought, and I want you to take that home with you, Tannenbaum, and think about it. Thank you very much, Heather. Every Wednesday with us here, Heather and Paul Feinbaum on vacation this week. As we continue, hold everything. Wait until you hear what Shefty says about Aaron Rodgers now. It could change the entire scenario in Green Bay. You will hear it next.
The biggest season ever starts with training camp.
Yeah, we get stronger and faster. One blink and we pass it.
A whole week of first looks and insider access.
We're back, baby.
Leading up to the first ever Back Together Saturday.
Let's go.
With a full day of coverage around the league.
Hit the horn!
As all 32 teams take the field.
Let's go!
Training camp, Back Together. Coverage begins July 26th on NFL Network.
The best ingredients are easy to explain. Like food that's grown from soil and rain. Artichokes and egg yolks have nothing to hide. Unlike azodicarbonamide, our domain is organic romaine, ancient grains, chunky or plain. Fuel for the brain. Absolutely anything but mundane. We only sell food we know you'll adore. So icky products are banned from our store. Saying no to that stuff is more than a goal, because that's what makes us whole.
These days, we want sophisticated but simple. Cutting edge, made user-friendly. In other words, we want a hybrid. And so do retailers, which is why they're going hybrid with IBM. A hybrid cloud approach with Watson AI helps manage supply chains while predicting demands with ease. From retail to healthcare, businesses are going with a smarter hybrid cloud, using the tools, platform, and expertise of IBM.
It's a wish list on wheels. A choice that requires no explanation. It's where safe and daring seamlessly intersect. It's understated, yet over-delivers. It is truly the Mercedes-Benz of sports sedans. Visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today for exceptional lease and financing offers.
And Doug.
Oh, are you using Liberty Mutual's coverage customizer tool? Sorry. Well, since you asked, it finds discounts and policy recommendations, so you only pay for what you need. Limo, you're an animal! Who's got the bird legs now?
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When Subway opened, they changed the fast food game. But sometimes you gotta refresh to be fresh. Welcome to the Eat Fresh Refresh, where there's so much new, some say it can't fit in one ad. I say, we're talking a new All-American Club, deli-style oven roasted turkey, and...
Oh, that's the new steak and cheese.
Oh yeah, I knew that. That's the one with the new seasoning.
And that was the new MVP Parmesan vinaigrette.
Right, which makes the next level foot. Hold up, the Subway logo? Wait, I'm out of time.
It is Great Britain. The British Grand Prix is underway. Alexander Albon has sent Magnussen off into the gravel. It's the race leader. It's Lewis Hamilton. The winners. Can you get on with it? It's Lewis Hamilton who takes the race. You've done it. You've done it.
The Pirelli British Grand Prix, presented by Mother's Polish, Sunday at 10 a.m. on ESPN.
Okay, me direct a film about the Harlem Cultural Festival that happened in '69, and no one ever heard of this. Do you accept this mission?
You will not be able to stay home, brother.
The footage of the festival just sat in a basement for 50 years.
Plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose.
This isn't just a cool concert. You're giving people back their memories.
The revolution will not be televised.
This was lightning in a bottle.
Summer of Soul, rated PG-13.
The long wait is almost over. Football is back as camps open all around the NFL next week. Get Up will be there with the very latest on who looks good, who's raising eyebrows, and who shows up. You'll get that news with our unique spin on what it all means. Get Up goes camping, NFL style, the week of July 19th. Starting to feel it. Summer working our way through, working our way towards training camp. We welcome you back to the offices of Tannenbaum and Greenberg. We are jam-packed as always from the Seaport District in New York City. We are brought to you by Chase. We have a huge cast with us today, getting you set with all the football conversation. The basketball game tonight, the All-Star game last night. Let's do it. Run the menu. It's time to get up with Aaron. Did you hear what Shefty said yesterday? Could change everything we thought about the situation in Green Bay. We will get you there. Then, a former quarterback has high expectations for this young star. Why the D in Big D this year should stand for Dak. And then the Bucs back tonight. Giannis and company desperate. Vince Carter will tell you exactly what he needs to do in Game 4 as we get up with you starting right now. With the game of the night, the 91st Major League Baseball All-Star Game, and the brightest star took the stage immediately. The first batter of the night is Shohei Ohtani leading off for the American League. And there is his first at-bat off Max Scherzer. He would go 0 for 2 at the plate, but that would not be all the work he would do. He also started on the mound for the American League, facing first up Fernando Tatis Jr. Gets him to pop out. Ohtani pitched 1 inning, did not allow a hit, did not allow a run. So that was the night for him. Top of 3 we go. American League leading at 1-0, and another of the young superstars in the sport, Vlad Guerrero at the plate. Vlad Guerrero in the seats. That's 468 feet at 22 years of age. He's the second youngest player ever to hit a home run in the All-Star game. Johnny Bench, the only man to do it younger. Bottom 8 we go. The National League down 5-2, but a great chance. Chris Bryant at the plate. The bases are loaded and 2 men are out. Bryant, is that going to get in the run? No, it's not, because Jared Walsh, who has never played left field in a Major League game, comes in and makes the catch. And that was pretty much all she wrote. The American League holds on to win it by a score of 5-2. Guerrero wins the All-Star Game MVP. He's the youngest player ever to do it. And here's another note with Vlad Jr. hitting the home run. He and his father are now the third father-son combo to homer in the All-Star Game. Senior did it 15 years ago. The others to do it, you see it there on the stuff of legend, the Griffies and the Bonzes. So a fun night last night in the Major League All-Star Game. Meanwhile, not a lot of fun being had in Green Bay. We're 13 days away from the Packers opening their training camp. And yesterday, our Adam Schefter, with a fascinating update on the Aaron Rodgers situation on his podcast. We thought this deserved to be played in its entirety. Listen to Shefty.
We also continue to wait for an answer from one Aaron Rodgers, who very easily could have dismissed all the speculation that's going on around him with a simple statement of, I'll see you at training camp, or I'll be there on opening day. And instead, we haven't gotten that. Because the fact of the matter is, the truth is, he doesn't want to be in Green Bay. He hasn't planned to be back in Green Bay. Now, we'll see whether the Packers and him can come up with some sort of compromise that can lure him back there. But I don't believe, and I think Aaron Rodgers knows this, that he wants to be back there, nor plans to be back there at this time. He just hasn't come out and said it. Look, the fact of the matter is he loves his coaches, he loves his teammates, he loves many of the people that he's worked with, but not everybody. And so this obviously continues to set up as the storyline of the summer. We'll see how the Packers handle it. But the one thing I feel very comfortable and confident in saying is Aaron Rodgers does not want to play there anymore. The question is whether they can convince him to do it, and I don't know how that is going to work out.
All right, so there's so much to unpack from this. And in a moment in time where I feel like the conventional wisdom had started to move towards the likelihood that Rodgers would show up and maybe start training camp on time and figure out a way around this. Now Shefty suggesting he does not want to be there. He doesn't plan to be there. So, Jeff Saturday, the first thing I want, for those who are just joining us, you made the point. Shefty said, Rodgers could have ended this by saying, I'll be at training camp. I'll see you when it starts. Well, you made the point. There's a lot of other things he could have done that he didn't do also.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have said, look, I sold my house. My cars just got shipped back to California. I'm not ever going back to Green Bay. I'm done in Green Bay. That would have cleared the situation equally as what Schefter's saying on the other side. Here's the bottom line. Aaron Rodgers is going to play for the Green Bay Packers this season because that's what grown folks do. You heard what Schefter said. He loves his teammates. He loves his coaches. He understands how good this football team is. He doesn't want to leave everybody, kind of up in arms from the team perspective. And this gives him the best opportunity to win another Super Bowl. So he understands he doesn't love the front office. He doesn't love the president and Murphy, all the things that are happening. We understand where it is. But ultimately, he also understands the game of football. He is a competitor. He's getting older. He's in his upper 30s right now. He understands the clock does tick. So from all of those things, he's going to play with the Packers this season. And with all the hesitation and not coming to camp, he won't start camp. All those things will just help him on the back end of that contract to get things where he wants them so he can get out of Green Bay next year.
Yeah, and Jeff Saturday, I think that's a really important point. I keep using both names because we have two Jeffs with us today. But Saturday, another piece of this, people will make the comparison to the situation with Carson Palmer for obvious reasons. It's a quarterback who held out into the season in Cincinnati. But he was holding out, if you'll recall, because he felt his career was being wasted on a franchise that wasn't trying to compete. Right. He felt he had no chance to win. I think that the fact, and Jeff, I think you agree with this, Jeff Saturday, the fact that he is on a team that is as close to winning as this is plays a huge role in this.
Absolutely, right? The NFC Championship 2 years in a row, and really if his left tackle is healthy, last year they probably end up winning that game. So when you talk about what's at stake, it's not just the money, it's not just the pride, it's the ability to win with a team that he knows is built to win, and he understands all the intricacies of this offense backwards and forward with LaFleur. There won't be any learning curve. Even if he waits and doesn't come in until the games have started, he understands how to get this team in the direction of winning and towards the playoffs. So, again, all of this plays out. Aaron Rodgers will play for the Packers this season. And the Packers, they would be foolish to do anything else but welcome him back with open arms.
And then Jeff Darlington, there's also the financial piece of this, and just how significant that is, we don't know. But if you run it down for us, there's a lot of money involved.
Well, yeah, it is significant, and I want to be respectful of Aaron Rodgers and his silence, because maybe he knows what's going on behind the scenes and has an ace in his sleeve. But when we look at the money, it's hard to understand how he can just say, yeah, I just don't want to play there. Because, all right, first of all, you got these numbers here. Base salary, $4.7 million that he would surrender. Roster bonus of $6.8 million. A workout bonus that he already missed out on through the offseason of $500,000. Another $100,000 we're not showing there that he missed out on by not being at the veteran minicamp. That's $22 million. By the way, that also doesn't include $1.75 million if he were to skip every practice of training camp, which is a $50K pop every single practice, and another $11.5 million in signing bonus that the Green Bay Packers could decide to go after if he doesn't play. So, look, I get it. I understand he doesn't want to be there. What I don't understand, and surely you've got to think that he and his representatives know this, is what he's going to do. Is he willing to surrender potentially $30 million to continue to take this stand? That's the part that I don't know how anybody, I haven't heard anybody be able to explain that. And until we hear Aaron Rodgers explain that, I'm with Jeff Saturday. I think he's in a Green Bay Packers uniform week 1.
So, Jeff, just to take you behind the curtains here, Aaron Rodgers' agent has obviously called a lot of teams, and let's just pick the most obvious one to me, Denver. Here's the conversations. Hey, if you ever get Aaron Rodgers, you're going to have to pay whatever the number is, $45 million on a 3-year deal. And by the way, you're going to have to add $35 million to pay all this money that Jeff Darlington just enumerated. If I'm the Broncos, I'm just putting that into my planning. I'm gladly going to pay $35 million additional dollars over 5 years, Greeny, because if I can't find $7 million per year on a $208 million salary cap to get arguably one of the greatest players of all time, shame on me. So even though it's consequential today, the acquiring team will make Aaron Rodgers hold. I think the more interesting inflection point is what happens if Green Bay starts off slowly and Jordan Love in particular struggles, because now if I'm Green Bay, the only way I could salvage the season is to say, hey, come on in, we're going to shorten your contract, and then you could become a free agent after the season.
I want to make sure I'm clear on what you're saying. You're saying starts the season slowly. You're already projecting ahead to a world in which Jordan Love is starting regular season games?
Yeah, because to me, if I'm Aaron Rodgers, the only way I could force Green Bay's hand is if I miss regular season games, as you said, just the way Carson Palmer did.
Right.
And when I sat in the seat and I was worried about Darrelle Revis and what was going to happen with him, until he missed regular season games, we were not going to change what we were going to do.
And Jeff Saturday, I guess I would finish it up by asking you this. It's one thing to be without a corner. Darrelle Revis was a great player, but when he came back, he plugs in and it all goes. It's another thing to be without the quarterback. Right. When does this start reaching a point, Jeff Saturday, that approaches no return as far as this team accomplishing everything it can this year?
Yeah, week 3 of the regular season, right? Week 3 of the regular season, especially if you go over in those first 3 weeks, like now it's significant, right? I think I agree with Mike though. I think the first 3 weeks, Aaron's still going to flex his muscles, kind of show the team I'm willing to do this. But ultimately, from a team perspective, you start 0-3. Even if you do come back, now you have the likelihood you don't make the playoffs. Let's say Minnesota gets hot or something like that. You just don't know, or somebody on your football team gets injured that totally changes the dynamics of your team. So in my opinion, that week 2, week 3 of the regular season is a huge turning point for the Packers and Aaron Rodgers negotiation.
Wow. They open camp in 13 days. We may not be that close to finding out what's going to happen.
Said,
Jeff Jones and I will come back to you.
See the way you
later
shine.
in the hour. We're going to take a quick break. As we continue,
Take my hand,
hold
my
on. Before the break, I've got to get to the basketball game from last night.
Place
because
them both
Team
in
USA has been
mine.
really struggling.
You know
dropping their first 2 exhibition games this summer. There was some concern, and then they went out last night with answers in Vegas.
Just one
this
more
is
time.
4 minutes left in the half, and Team USA up by 10. That's Damian Lillard knocking one down, facing Argentina. It's a good team. And then you have Lillard here working with Draymond Green. Draymond Green takes this one himself. Team USA a 14-point advantage. Now time ticking down in the half. The lead is still 14. Kevin Durant, good luck stopping that. He had 14 of his 17 in the first half. Team USA up by 16 at the break. Then we've got Zach LaVine. Oh, we have liftoff. He throws it down. He had 15. Bradley Beal had 17. Team USA quieting the noise. That's an impressive win, 108-80 over Argentina. All right, now to a quick break. Coming up, a former quarterback has high expectations for this young star. Why the D in Big D this year should stand for Dak. Plus, we will tell you the most underappreciated quarterback in the entire sport, and it's none of the people you're seeing on your screen. We'll tell you who it is as we roll on. You're watching Get Up on ESPN.
Experience our advanced standard safety technology on a full line of vehicles at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event.
Get 1.9% APR financing on the 2021 RX 350.
Experience amazing.
What does it mean to be made true? It means being made to stand the test of time. Made to give it your all. Made to live loudly. Made to take first steps. It means every cut, stitch, and seam is made to push things forward for the last 170 years and the next. Fruit of the Loom. Made true.
Apartments.com has scoured the earth to find the most listings, and that means the most pet-friendly listings for pet-loving renters. So you might say that you've brought more joy to more sweet, innocent, and adorable little creatures than any other site.
It has 48-hour protection and a plant-based moisturizer that cares for your skin. Odor protection that works. New Dove Men Plant-Based Care.
Nobody ever heard of the Harlem Culture Festival.
Top critics agree Summer of Soul is electrifying.
It wasn't just about the music.
What time is it? Soul time!
Summer of Soul, rated PG-13, now playing.
On the count of three, we run. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Again. 1, 2, 3. Charge! Again. Ah!
Ow, my head.
At last, M&M's Mix.
You know what beats next day shipping? Getting it the same day. So shop Ace online and get free in-store or curbside pickup right in your neighborhood. Or get what you need delivered the very same day you order.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
Haven't seen you around my stores lately. Oh, you've been eating the delicious sandwiches at Jimmy's John's.
They got summer wraps. They're new.
Summer wraps?
Yeah, this one's chicken Caesar.
Well, sounds refreshingly light.
Got croutons too, boss.
Freaking Jimmy's John's!
They got wraps now!
I'm aware.
New summer wraps for a limited time at Jimmy John's.
We are thrilled. We finally found our dream home in the mountains.
Views are great. The air is fresh. It is bear country, though.
Hey, boo-boo, we hit the jackpot.
Bear.
Look, corn on the cob.
Ooh, chicken. Don't mind if I do.
You're hungry.
T-bone. That's what I call a smorgasbord.
At least Geico makes bundling our home and car insurance easy.
They do save us a ton of money.
We'll take the cobbler to go.
Good idea, Yogi.
Now I'm smarter than the average bear.
They're gone, Dad.
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
McGuire's new hybrid ceramic wash and wax with a unique SiO2 boost. Gentle cleaning technology, plus hybrid ceramic wax all in one. Delivering instant water-beating protection. McGuire's hybrid ceramic wash and wax with advanced SiO2 technology. McGuire's ceramic made easy.
Experience hybrid performance that takes you further at the Lexus Golden Opportunity Sales Event.
Get 0.9% APR financing on all 2021 Lexus hybrid models.
Experience amazing.
One app, one tap, we back. Switch to style. Up, never beat new track. One app, taking over the scene. Connecting from your phone to your TV screen. ESPN goes deep otra vez. One app, one tap, it's a worldwide trend.
We are back on Get Up, and earlier this morning we played a game called Believe It or Not, and I have Another one for you. The Dallas Cowboys will open their training camp early next week because they play in the Hall of Fame game against Pittsburgh on August 5th. And with Dak Prescott back at 100%, expectations in Dallas are sky high. Well, just how high are they? Listen to Alex Smith, who, of course, just finished his terrific career in the NFL. He was talking with USA Today about Dak Prescott, and he said, quote, "He is such a strong, powerful, such a good athlete, so I really expect him to come back and be rolling. Then you add that onto his fortitude and mental perspective. I think he's going to have a huge, huge year." He doubled up on the huge. Jeff Saturday, are you willing to go there? Is Dak Prescott about to have a huge, huge year?
Absolutely. He's going to have a huge, huge year. Listen, when you think, we talk about trios all the time, think about Lamb, Cooper, Zeke, and Dak. All of a sudden, they're going to be in this situation together. I think this offense proves to be one of the toughest in the NFL, maybe even a top 5, top 3 type offense this thing is built. Here's what everything is going to rely on, though, Greeny. Offensive line. And I know y'all love when I take it back to OL, but Smith has to get healthy, Collins has got to get healthy, and Zach Martin. Those 3 guys, that is the key for the offense of the Cowboys. Ultimately, Dak and all these guys can't produce the numbers they want to produce if this offensive line doesn't get healthy and stay healthy. That's really been the key for the offensive line. That, to me, sets the stage for the Dallas Cowboys.
Are you willing to double down on the word huge, Mike Tannenbaum, for the season for Dak?
Absolutely, and here's why. All the defensive coaches I work with, Parcells, Belichick, Mangini, Rex Ryan, when the opposing offense has 2 frontline receivers, as Jeff noted, it's really hard. Who are you going to double? Someone's going to be singled up. And if they could pass early, they should be able to run and control the game with Zeke Elliott if he's healthy with a good offensive line. So absolutely, this team is set up. They have firepower all over the place. And remember, Dak's a really good athlete. If he could come back from that injury, he could also make plays with his feet. I think this is going to be a really hard offense to defend.
Jeff Darlington, what is your sense here? The biggest issues in Dallas last year were on the defensive side, and obviously the injury to the quarterback. What is the general feeling around the league right now about Dallas a week away from the start of their camp?
Yeah, watch out for Dak. I mean, I know that the team struggled at times with Dak at the